Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Random Rants with Random. With your host today, once again, Captain Lamo. So, I'm really sorry guys, I sort of feel like I've let yous down. Me and Katie's weather god skills have been pushed to the limit today. For the last 2 days it's been a torrential downpour, but as usual when I got out here, it fined up enough and was a tiny bit of light drizzle to get Katie off and get ready. And if I had been out riding, this bit of rain that's happening now just makes it better because it cools you down, it settles down all the dust on the track, and in places like this where you've got a sandy base, it actually makes the sandy base give you the most unbelievable traction and make it so much fun. But unfortunately, because I only use my phone, I can't film riding in the wet. So like I said in my last video, this is at the bottom of No Guts Hill where Mr. Raju flipped his bike in this creek and I lost my guts on the ground over there and then rested under that tree for about an hour till I could hold water again. But like I was explaining in my last video, I've come out today not for a big ride, but when I was sitting here trying to recover, I was looking around and I thought I could make a really sweet little quick enduro loop in here and be able to start timing myself around an enduro loop that's got a little bit of technicalness, but not too much technicalness, and a bit of fun. Oh, sorry. So at the moment I'm under my umbrella because I thought it might rain while I was doing all this. So I tucked the umbrella in the backpack. So I'm hiding under it to keep the phone dry. But from my last video, I have made progress. Like I said, this track here, we came down last time and Mr. Raju ended up upside down in the creek. But I'm 100% positive if I go up this way, it's a sweet little flowy uphill that's not too technical. And then up the hill, about halfway up the crest that you might be able to see through the tops of the trees, there's an intersection that comes down the other side of this rise, and then it comes down over here and then through the creek down there. So because I already know that that goes up and comes back down, I've sussed out that going up this way and coming down the other way will be the most fun and least technical. And then if you want full technical, you reverse it. So I just had to make a fun little turnaround at the bottom. I thought it was a bit boring if... So this... Hey Katie, not getting too dirty today, are you? You're getting cleaned all the time. So we'll come down here. Now I'll try and set the umbrella up in a tripod to see if I can film myself doing this bit later. But basically the plan is, so I don't know if you can pick it up, I put a bit of white paint on trees to show my loop. So I'll be coming down here. So coming down the hill towards me, through the creek, and then up through the creek. And I thought, instead of just turning here and heading back up the hill, there's all this side as well. So I might expand it later, but what I've done today in my quick little muck around to make a fun little turnaround that you'll be able to see a lot more action in a small area hopefully, is come down this hill, through the creek, up this side, And like I said, instead of just turning right here with a boring corner and heading back up the hill, I've made a track. I've ridden it once today. I didn't make it look good because there's all hidden rocks and logs I've got to clear, but I walked it and then I rode it for a bit of feel, and it feels like it might work out. So down across the creek, here we go, sorry about this. Down across the creek, I'll do it all in one go. Across the creek, and then instead of turning right, straight ahead here. You won't be able to pick up my riding marks from before. Straight ahead here. Now there's rocks and stuff in the grass that make it a bit tricky, so that's a bit of a trickiness to it. So there's a little bit of a lump in the grass here you can't see with rocks on it. So you've got to try and get up over this smoothly and then head towards this way and then swing it to the left. Like I said, I might make more tracks going up that way, but I think this will be a good little loop. Then swing it down here, and then there's another little lump in the grass with some rocks on it. So up over this lump, I think I hit this before. Big rock, burnt out log in the bottom there. So up over the lump with the rocks, then down through the trees here. There's a couple of rocks on the outside of the corner here. So down here, then down the hill, and then I just put the white paint cap, it's wedged there, so it's not going to go anywhere, guys. It's going to stay there to mark that stump until I can get some more ribbons and whatnot, because stumps like that just hide in the grass and you don't see them, and you fall on that, you're going to know about it. So down through here, across the entrance track, that's the track in, then that's going back towards Katie, back up the hill. So straight across the track here, then down through the trees here. This is where it gets tricky to hold the umbrella. Down through the trees here, back to the creek again, as you see. And then there's this big lump. And I thought, I've got to use this big lump. So I'll back it back into the trees. So you come down and you just go to the left of the creek, and then you go rorty, 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 rort, rort, up over the hill, back onto the track, and back up the hill. So what do you think of that line, guys? I know it's very hard to pick up on camera, but I thought that added quite an interesting little bit of a turnaround, using a few lumps and bumps in the ground that's already here, because I don't know if you can see that. It's not a bad lump, and the tip of it, from when you come right down the bottom there near the creek, is a good 1.5 meters in height. And the plan is, once I get really deadly, I'll come hooking it through this corner. Hopefully I'll get a bit of a rut developing and actually start being able to do a bit of a jump off there, back onto the track and up the loop. And like I said, I just rode up and I just did a loop then, but it's too wet to film. So I'll see if I can set my camera up and film this end bit for you and show you how spastic my riding actually is, and see how we go from there. So sorry guys, we're really trying with the weather guide skills, but it's gotten a bit wet, and like I say, if I was riding, it would be freaking awesome being a bit wet, but trying to film and walk around in the rain marking out tracks. But let me know what you reckon, guys. I think I've marked out a pretty fun little turnaround at the bottom of this hill. rather than just come down, turn around and head straight back towards me. Go up there, around there, come down through there, and then what? Off the hill, off the bump. So there you go. It's very, like I said, it's been a torrential downpour up here for the last 2 days. All the creeks are very swollen. This is only a little creek with a catchment area, so it hasn't got much water in it. But all the big creeks are quite swollen, and I really don't want to flood my bike or get washed off a causeway when I'm by myself. And also, years ago I did get washed off a causeway. Me and Katie got totally washed off, and I can understand how easy it is for people to drown. Because I got washed off on the low side, every time I stood up in the water, Katie got washed over me and knocked me underwater again. So that happened 3 times. So on the 3rd time I took an extra big breath and I bunyipped myself flat to the bottom like a stingray. And then when Katie come over me, I actually pushed her over the top of me. And then when I come up to get the breath, I was on the high side of Katie and she couldn't take me down again. So then I dragged her out of the creek, and luckily I was with a mate who went back and got my car and came and got me, because it was totally submerged. There was water in everything. So she copped a good spa treatment after that day. But around the same time, this has happened many years ago, around the same time a young fella, a 16-year-old, got washed off a causeway and drowned up in this area. So when it's raining, you just never know when you're going to have a wall of water heading towards you when you come across a creek. And also with the crossings being very slippery rocks, the water doesn't even have to be that deep to wash you off. When I got washed off, the water was maybe 1.5 foot deep. Sort of just come up to Katie's side cases. But if you're a 4-wheel driver, you'll know as soon as water hits the side of something, it builds up, and it actually built up to nearly the bottom of the tank very quickly as a wall on the side, and just pushed me straight off the slippery rocks into the water. So that was a bit nerve-wracking, but thankfully my bunyip ancestry helped me through. So there you go. So let me know, guys. I plan on making this a loop, and if I get different bikes to have a try on, we can come out and see the different times and how hard it is to do the same loop. And friends can come and do the loop, and we can challenge ourselves. And anyone that's up in far north Queensland, there's those gnarly black boys I was telling you about. I think they're called black boys or grass trees. They'd make an awesome weapon. So yeah, before I was playing with them, and then I touched the wrong button and turned the camera off, guys. So sorry about that cut short. So they make, can I show you this one? This one's made a funny, normally they grow quite straight, but sometimes they make some interesting shapes. Hopefully you can catch that, guys, in the silhouette. Bit of a wiggly wobbly S. So yeah, so if anyone's in the FNQ area, sling me a comment and I'll tell you where this is, and we can do like a bit of a far north challenge. If anyone's in the local area, come out, do the loop, post your times and see how we go. That seems like a fun thing to do on the internet. All these tracks that people do runs and times on. So it's only going to be like about, possibly maybe even up to a 5-minute loop with my skills. But if you're someone like Shane Watts, probably make maybe a 1.5 minute loop. But we'll see how we go. I haven't done a full loop yet. I haven't got all my gear on today. I'm testing out some waterproof Colorado hiking boots. So they've copped the workout today, walking in now the creek. So see if my socks are dry later. I'll let you know. So Katie's there copping a nice cool bath, keeping the sweat down, keeping the temp down. So let me know, guys, do you think I've got a good idea here and something you'd be interested in watching? Sling me a comment. Anyway, from me and Katie, out. Keep it real on the back wheel.